Here we have a gift from Mallory as a brass accent light. It does not have a plug that goes into a standard outlet. So we are going to be using this transformer that will allow me to connect the wires, cap them, and then be able to test the light and see how well the light works. So I'll be working off of the red-brown is the positive, blue-black is the negative, and I'll be connecting it to these two wires here. So I'll slide off the cap that Mallory had left on to keep these two ends from fraying too much, and then I'll try to separate out these two lines. There we go. Avoid crossing them and mixing them up. And then from here, let's just connect them up. Actually, hey, 1 second. There we go. Just preference. I'm just gonna give myself a little bit extra room here and try to split these two. So I cheated and I went off camera and I used my razor blade and a cutting board that just kind of nick in between those two lines, and now we can kind of separate these out a little bit, and then that just gives me a little bit of playroom basically. And then from here we'll wrap the two ends together and wrap this end together, and then I can use the caps that came with the light to protect those two exposed wire areas. Excellent. Perfect. There we go. And now let's test it out and see how well it connected to this transformer. There we go. Nice orangish yellowish glow to the light. Goes very, very well with the brass look. I'll try putting it on the spike here in a second and putting it outside, and we'll test it out and see how it looks. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm going to try putting it on the spike here. Feed the wire through that little slot there. And then from there, once the wire is set in the middle, I can go ahead and screw the light on. There we go. And now we got a nice little spike. Let me untwist that wire a little bit. Fortunately, that is the easiest way to do it, at least that I know of. I'm sure 100 people in the comments will point out how it should be done, but either which way, that worked for me and they got it done. All right, there we go. Now we got the light set. We got it on the spike. We'll go outside, stick it in the ground, see how it looks. Hang it, stay tuned. And he said, let there be light, and it was all right. Look at that. Lights up pretty good. This tree and bush area we have in the front yard. Brass, being the dark shade that it is, it's kind of hard to see the light itself when it's late at night and it's kind of dark, but it is pretty nice looking little light. Lights up pretty well, and it's actually surprisingly bright for being such a tiny little unit. Brass accent light from Mallory. So not technically how the accent light is supposed to be demonstrated, but right now I'm holding it like a spotlight, and just to kind of give you some perspective, that is how much it is actually able to brighten up. So without it and just these little solar lights, you can kind of see the areas just kind of dim. But when the brass light comes in, it is just bright, nicely well lit. It is a surprisingly bright little unit for the brass accent light. Just wanted to give another perspective.